and Let Me can all play that champion from various positions. On the other side, he was like, I figured out how to play this guy. I think I can do it.
Yeah, he's going to go back to that Gragas who's just performed so well in the previous setup. And so far, it looks like King aren't changing things up too much at all. They are going to swap out Zero's Braum for Thresh this time around.
Zero is an incredible Thresh. Anytime you give him a high-impact playmaking champion, he can lead the charge. He can carry the team from the support role.
We'll have to see if he's going to be successful once again, as we don't have an AD carry yet locked in for Name. RNG getting onto their second draft phase. You mentioned that Jace still open. Interestingly enough, it's MLXG who hovers it instead of Xiaohu. We'll see if they decide to lock it in. As you can see, going through the RNG players on your screen right now, some serious consideration being tossed to these ones. Looks like it is going to be Jace and Wuxian going back onto Vayne.
No surprises there. Comfort champions. The thing about pretty much both these teams is that their champion pools are fairly limited. It's very easy to kind of figure out what they're doing, and how they priority through draft phase is also fairly interesting. A lot of teams will, because there's so many power picks in the meta, will prioritize achieving those power picks as quickly as possible. That said, it does open up the hand to tell you what the composition is meant to do. Whereas either of these two teams, you had a denial, but on King's side, I mean, they tried to hide their composition for as long as possible, you know, first rotating support and jungle.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to go for something a little bit more conventional with this
look.
rotation.
Pushing waves.
Yeah, Name going back to that Sivir Corn, locking in Twisted Fate. Once again, King, as you mentioned, looking to control the side waves.
Took TF into a possible... no, but he's going to be Jace. Okay, I was going to say there was a possible chance that it could have been a Fizz, but he knows which matchup he's going into.
We'll have to see if that is going to be what it is. And last pick is Let Me, interestingly enough. King saving that 5th pick for last. Very confident in Let Me. And the fact that they haven't subbed him out too, could King have finally found their solid rock of a top lane?
Gam-T King.
Maybe, maybe. And on the other side, RNG do decide to lock in MLXG on Evelynn. Well, Evelynn for MLXG. And Lamy going for the disengaged style Janna.
Love the Janna with Vayne. You know I do. On the other side, though, it's going to be Insec's champion. Is he going to go for the Nautilus top? Will it be the Vladimir? Possibly something crazier.
Yeah, I have no idea. Insec, he just likes playing things that he likes to play.
It's nice to see him kind of trend back towards more of a meta.
She says as he immediately hovers over Vladimir.
Guys, I want this. I really like the synergy between Sivir and Vladimir. I feel like anytime you pick up a Vladimir, it's almost necessary that you pick up Sivir. I talk about this all the time. Vladimir needs tools to be able to get to the back line so he can land a Hemoplague across multiple members. The On the Hunt empowers him to do that wonderfully.
I feel like that's going to be a bit tricky against Jace, who's going to punch you out of the fight with a hammer, or Janna, who's just going to blow in your face.
If Jace is wasting his hammer form to punch Vladimir out of a backline, there are so many things that have already gone wrong.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the reason why I'm the play-by-play, and you're the color.
I'm just envisioning this Jace going out of cannon form to try to swing Vladimir out of the fight as Vladimir just already drops the pool, and he's like, cool, that's fine. I'm fine back here. I'm ranged. You know that, right?
All right, so those are our final team comps locked in for RNG and King. Running through the rosters right now. Hui and MLXG on your screen right now. A little bit more pressure on MLXG this time. Going from the Rex side to the Evelynn. In the mid, it's Xiaohu now and Korn.
Going for that invisible paranoia pressure on the map. In the bot lane, though, it's going to be Wuxian back on Vayne, Name back on Sivir. This matchup didn't work as well last time.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out too great for Wuxian as he was caught by the level 1. But here's Zero and Lamy on that Thresh and Janna to keep Thresh away. And we're loading onto the Rift. This is going to be an exciting one. Will King be able to take it to 2-0?
Or will RNG finally be proactive around the map? We saw their early game, MLXG constantly invading, trying to put Huey down, but kind of stumbled during the mid game.
Yeah, well, we're going to load into the Rift. We're getting on right now. And we have returned to the Rift. Welcome back, everyone. It's RNG and King. We're on Week 8, Day 3, Set 1, Game number 2. match number 1018.
We already had our 1,000th match of the LPL.
That's so exciting.
I'm excited.
I wonder which one it was.
It was King versus Xiaogu, I believe.
That's actually a pretty exciting match. King once again putting on some early pressure. They managed to get first blood with a very cheesy play from Insec. Might be looking for something similar with a 5-man group and a D4, but Wushin already safe under his tier 1, and all of King are spotted out by excellent wards from RNG.
King have the earliest average first blood of any of the LPL teams, so it just goes back to who are King, what is their identity, how do they win the game? They snowball. If they don't snowball, they don't win.
We'll have to find out if they will succeed in doing it this time, as Lamey and Zero are caught in a dance-off in the mid lane.
I wouldn't trust Zero. He'll flash hook you. I wouldn't. Yeah, see, look.
MLXG doesn't trust him either.
I wouldn't trust that guy. I wouldn't trust him on my team. I wouldn't trust him in the mid lane.
First,
Guardian Angel
Quicksilver second.
QSS. It wasn't even a Crucible.
Oh, man. Zero, very, very confident player.
Confident is the word we'll use.
Well, you can't say he's not confident.
Interesting.
Going for a Guardian Angel first.
Curious. Silly. Adorable.
Wacky, wild, zany, inflatable waving arm man.
MLXG actually making a red steal here.
Yeah, he's right over the wall from Insec. Brings it low. Should be able to smite steal it away. And
that's so risky. You know that the top laner is going to be on the Raptor camp. Get him, MLXG.
Insec has to run away from
Flash,
this
do
one.
it.
Let's see if he's going to go. Man, Insec
he let me
makes
down.
it out.
He knew. So again, talked about how risky that is because you know that the enemy top laner is going to be taking a camp for themselves before they teleport up into the top lane. So just the aggression to take the red buff and then immediately look to murder Vladimir.
Yeah, looks like Insec is going to teleport to that top side of the map. However, MLXG still up there. So aggressive. Does have level 2 with the red buff. Will he find Insec?
This is her first.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage as Insec goes down to half, a third of his health. He flashes under the turret. They're diving for the kill. Are they going to get it? Yes, MLXG nets first blood.
That's for first blood last game.
There's the revenge from MLXG, who he actually going to counter invade the red.
Like a laser, though. Just as soon as Insec teleported back to the mid before he teleported to the top lane, he actually went mid lane to align with Insec, and then as soon as he's in the top lane, okay, shot straight towards him.
His laser sight had captured Insec, and then he heat-seeked
Seeking missile.
Heat sound.
Good job from Huey, though, to recognize that since MLXG had expended pressure into the top lane, that he could go and he could make the trade for the red buff, so not going to get 3 buffed.
Oh, there goes the hammer from Xiaohu, trading it away with Korn, and yeah, you mentioned Huey going for the invade. He will find this gank onto Xiaohu from the side, however. We'll have to find out if Xiaohu makes it out of it with his life. Looks like he does. In fact, Huey doesn't go for the aggressive invade, decides just to...
Power fun.
Yeah. Scuttle Crab, greater than gank.
He's got double the CS of MLXG right now.
To be fair, vision is so important against Evelyn.
That vision is not going to matter, though.
He will have so much vision of when MLXG is invisible.
You are correct. The initial trinket that he placed down deep on the Wraith camp, obviously you want to ward Eve's camps for when she comes out of stealth to do them. But otherwise, the Scuttle Crab vision not going to help you against Eve.
Yeah, it looks like Hui's actually looking for a bit of a gank as he finds himself on the bottom side of the map. Come on, make it into the bottom brush. You can do it. He decides not to. He's keeping it defensive.
Oh, wow. I'd be mad if I was Korn.
Yeah, MLXG is actually waiting in the wings for a gank, so Xiaohu's putting some pretty solid pressure out. Let's see if Zero goes out.
Where's the Lantern to the double play?
There goes the play. The Lantern comes out. Hui goes forward. The
oh, my God.
Swoosh in. They're bringing him low. Name gets another kill in the bottom lane.
Zero sets up perfectly. Didn't telegraph the gank, looked for the double flay, found it as the flay animation is going through, throws the Lantern, flashes forward, finds the hook. The timing that it took to make sure that the wave had come into set so it wouldn't have been disrupted by an enemy minion coming into the lane. Beautiful communication from Zero.
Yeah, this is a bit of a risky play from King as they immediately rush
I don't know what he's doing.
Name's like, guys, what? Guys, team, hello?
That moment when the AD carry doesn't follow you. And Name's the shot caller like, I didn't call that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, King don't get that first dragon, but they manage to net another kill for themselves again onto Name as they're playing almost the exact same game from game number 1. Question is, are RNG wise to those tricks? MLXG did manage to get that first blood by killing Insec, and you can see he's having a bit of trouble on the top side as Let Me zones him away from that enormous wave of minions. Poor guy.
Insec has a pink ward. Oh, this is interesting. 0. Huey, the roaming gank squad, coming in through the back of the lane.
We'll have to see if they manage to find Let Me. Oh, no. Oh, I think 0 showed himself.
Yeah. Let Me's peacing out.
He's going to bail out of this one. Scuttle Crab secured by MLXG will spot the roam from 0, so Xiaohu should be safe.
Is taking advantage of the fact that they see 0 on the top side of the map, so he's quickly running in, placing down deep wards. Nice response.
Oh, ward gets cleared out. Though you do mention they have complete control in terms of vision over King's blue side jungle, so you can see early sweepers coming out from everyone on King as it appears that they are comfortable and content.
They pinged and 0 went over there trying to, I think, sweep out the vision or check to make sure that there wasn't any pink wards there. So King are aware that Huey has been revealed on the map. So now it's kind of like the double mind games. King realized that RNG know that they knew where the jungler is.
I feel like you added one in extra just because.
It's a trap.
What the FF?
No Kim Possible fans? Trap.
Man. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Whoa, MLXG.
I still know the naked
gang.
mole rat by heart. Okay, here we go.
Ron-stoppable.
MLXG.
Yeah, he's going to find Huey right here. There goes the immediate destiny. Will he decide to help MLXG out? Oh, no, Xiaohu actually a bit faster to the draw.
And they're able to do that because you had pressure points in all solo lanes. So Let Me pushing forward, Xiaohu pushing forward. So, again, really nice communication. Going back to the style, MLXG is going to invade the enemy jungler. He's going to make plays there. And his solo laners making sure that they're covering him.
Yeah, so MLXG, again, putting consistent pressure on the jungle from King. Not a lot of responses just yet. Take a look at the vision on the map. It's all over King's jungle. Pretty much every ward is in there. Oh, except for the one in the bottom tri-bush.
Yep. I see. Huey trying to secure his blue buff, however, for Corn. Curious how this Destiny ultimate is going to be used. Was already burned, but I would like to see it burned a little bit more offensively.
Kamei takes some punishment. Yep, there goes blue to Corn. He's down just a bit in CS, but
that's to be expected.
Still keeping pace with Jace. All in all, things very calm and slow for this early lane phase. Not seeing too much crazy action outside of MLXG's attempts to be a little bit cheeky, and Huey's gank on the bottom lane.
I'm always curious why, if you look at the composition of RNG, why they continue to prioritize Vayne. I mean, obviously, Wushin has shown proficiency on the champion and comfort on the champion, but doesn't actually really fit with their comp. Janna is going to be nice to protect Vayne, and we've talked about a lot of synergy there kind of in the past and how those two champions work together to empower each other. But typically you want to run a Vayne with a Cassiopeia because Cassiopeia dissuades people diving onto the backline with her petrifying gaze because she is a mid-range champion. Jace really isn't going to do anything for you. He's got the acceleration gate and implies poke, but the fact that RNG cohesively between kind of their two stars, their AD carry and their mid laner, aren't finding any sort of synergy in their composition and they're just playing comfort champs, I kind of think speaks to the weakness of this team and their standings.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they are able to use that Jace rather effectively. I mean, their draft phase was pretty solid. Going for the Fizz first for Let Me. You disagree?
He hasn't shown himself as a key enough Fizz player to warrant a denial against Corn.
Perhaps it was more just taking it away from Insec. Maybe. Wild, wacky, zany, Let Me Fizz. Looks like he does find some damage on the Insec. Flash gets him out of a majority of the damage. Hemo Plague tries to turn around, but Insec is being burned through quite low. Here's Xiaohu and Insec. He gets brought low.
So many resources expended top. It's going to be an easy free call for the Dragon here for King, as well as that bottom tier turret. So surely putting themselves in control, at least as far as the map is concerned. Insec getting punished a lot this game, however.
Seems to be taking some serious punishment from Letme and MLXG. Interestingly, he's putting so much pressure onto Insec this time around. He's not putting really any effort on the bottom side of the map to try shutting down Nami.
I mean, that said, Vayne's going to farm anyway. Likewise, so is Sivir. It's a very difficult lane to gank because you're not only competing against the on-the-hunt reposition available, but the spell shield, as well as the Dark Passage and the box. Janna's not going to empower your gank at all, so the hard CC just is non-existent there. So your kill pressure is really only in the top lane. You have some into the mid lane, but it's such a short lane that if Korn has his flash available, I mean, you're not going to, unless he grossly misplays. So it's just kind of what's available. But again, it goes back to MLXG.
Oh, getting aggressive. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear as MLXG clears out a ward.
He would rather gank and attempt to snowball the top lane than to secure the dragon.
That's exactly what the trade happened for RNG. It ended up biting them in game number 1. Xiaohu, takes the first turret of the game. Actually, no, that's the second, as the first one was secured by King on the bottom side of the map.
Yep. Which means that RNG are still in full control of the game. They have about a 1k gold lead. That said, there is some invisible power for King in the form of that dragon.
We'll have to see if that comes to use for King. As you mentioned, they are down a mild amount of gold. MLXG this time continuing to farm up ahead of Hui Name, once again opening up a pretty large CS lead over Wushin. This is a pretty similar setup to what we saw in game number 1. Name just getting so much further ahead than Wushin.
That said, there is a CS discrepancy between the two AD carries, which that's to be expected, Sivir versus Vayne. But more importantly, MLXG has a pretty sizable gold lead over Huey, which is even more important. I mean, it only looks like 10 CS, but the jungle creeps mean so much more in terms of gold value.
King going for the invade. Here comes Zero and Hui. A lot of harass coming out from Xiaohu with the poke. And Zero decides he wants none of it, decides to back away while Korn pushes up in the mid lane. So when we were talking about the team composition for King, one of the big points that we highlighted with this specific comp was side wave control, side wave management. How are they doing with that so far?
Well, hold on, because Letme, in a bit of a sticky situation, has Playful Trickster.
Ooh, dodges some initial damage from Hui. Looks like the dive is going to follow through. It's 4v3. Here comes the Destiny Gate, and Korn manages to find the stun despite the flash. Laney gets pulled right back in. Name dishes out some auto attacks, but here's Xiaohu. He's going to single-handedly dissuade the engage. Monsoon resets the fight. Zero goes low, and Zero is going to go down to Wushin. Name is traded it over, and King are falling to pieces under this onslaught from RNG. Korn running for his life, but he's almost certainly going to go down. Oh man, doesn't have vision past the wall, and Wushin should be able to catch up here, especially if Xiaohu provides an acceleration gate. No, they let him go.
Good counter gank right there. Was a little bit misplayed from Letme on the Playful Trickster initially, but a good reset from Lei saves the day and allows Xiaohu and Wushin to walk through the back half. We'll see if it translates into any sort of objective. We do have Wushin up into the top side. Curious how low that tower is.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's able to secure it. Looks to be at pretty high health, just by judging from the model.
That's right. They changed that.
They did. Super neat.
Super duper neat.
So yeah, now King are going to send their duo to the top side of the map. Insec looks to catch farm on the bottom as the lane swap is finally initiated from King.
But you want to talk about their side wave control. That's what we were addressing right before. Korn is actually looking for a Seeker's Arm Guard, which no surprise there. That's typically the item that you look for against an AD mid laner. Although, hold on, we've got the replay.
Yeah, here's a replay of the fight.
Playful Trickster was misused, which is why Letme goes down there. He should have used it to dodge the cast, so a nice cast from Huey. Lei gets locked up, looks like disaster, but he's about to flash forward. And this ultimate is to mostly, I don't want to call it a CC, but he's pushing them into the wall. So he doesn't save anyone, where it would look like initially that Janna ult would just push everyone away, because it pushes them sideways into the wall and just allows his team, you know, an extra second to catch back up, put themselves in position, and allow Wushin and Xiaohu to run through the back half of that.
Yeah, very effective play from Laney. Helping his team secure those kills and now netting them a 3,000 gold lead, 2.5 over King. So looks like King are going to try to answer this with Name and Zero shoving up onto the turret. Here's the Eye of the Storm. Oh, and actually finds Lucian. He takes some damage, flayed into the box. Teleport coming in onto 2 members right there. No, that was yes, that was the double teleport out of Korn and Insec. That was pretty wacky. They managed to pick up the kill on the Laney, and they're going to take this tier 1.
Can we talk about how Zero hit that hook on the tumbled Vayne, predicting the angle? This is why you ban Thresh against Zero.
Oh, looks like RNG are going to respond by taking that mid-tier 2. Xiaohu's doing some serious damage. Destiny Gate being used.
Get him!
And he manages to land the stun. Xiaohu's taking a lot of damage, but makes it out.
So more than well worth a trade for RNG, in my opinion, taking that second tier mid tower versus just the first tier top tower as well as the 2 kills. They still have their sizable gold lead. Likewise, they'll have a perfect back timer to set up for this dragon that will be spawning in 20 seconds. Yeah,
King had complete control over the dragons in the previous game. Could be looking for something similar this time around as they're prepared around the pit. They've got wards, they've got vision, and they're all grouped up on that side as well, despite the fact that none of them really have teleport anymore. So looks like King are again going to prioritize that dragon.
They're in position on the tower. Again, RNG prioritizing the fact that Vayne needs that late game farm. Going to go ahead and give this one up, and I just completely
disagree with it.
Yeah.
So what is the trade-off in this situation between those dragons in the late game Vayne? Break it down for me.
Vayne gets to farm, gets solo EXP. You think that if you can stall the game out long enough into like a 45 minutes. So, I mean, think about the Snake versus, who were they playing? LGD? IG game yesterday.
Yeah, Snake versus LGD.
That came down to one team fight at 50 minutes when the death timers were super punishing. Name just died there.
Yes, he did indeed. Name getting caught out of position by the invade from RNG. And looks like RNG are going to look to put some pressure onto this top tier 2, though. They do have the mid-game bridge of Jace. They've got the late-game bridge of Vayne. Their team composition looks like it really only suffered a bit during the early game, and now they finally made it out of that early game phase.
Likewise, though, if their plan is to consistently look for the late game, single team fight victory, that's a 50-50 because the death timers are so punishing at that point in the game, which I mean speaks really to RNG's standings of constantly going 1-1 pretty much every single set. So until they start becoming more matured in their style and more proactive, they're not going to find more consistent results.
Well, looks like they are being a little bit more proactive in this match, and it's netting them some pretty positive results in this game so far. You can tell they're up about 5,000 gold from that turret control. They've got some pretty solid picks going across the map on top of the team fight that they managed to turn from King's dive. So how do King turn it around? How do King get back in the lead and end up taking the win? Continue
to play with their split push. So we talked about how they play compositions like this all the time. Vladimir has great split push potential. Twisted Fate obviously has great zone control. Sivir able to move her team quickly around a map as well as kind of disengage them when they decide to look for a 1-3-1. If you try to engage on the 3, she pops ult, just backs up. Problem is that Korn itemized first his Hourglass, which makes sense, again, the Seeker's arm guard against a Jace, but typically when a Twisted Fate's intention is to siege towers, they want to itemize the Lich Bane first. So this tells me that King, at least Korn, is set up to look for 5v5s, trying to be that big engage tool as far as picks. Destiny in, gold card immediately into the Hourglass to buy his team enough time to catch back up with him. But historically, that hasn't really been King's strong point.
He gets caught, takes some big damage, gold card lands. He does manage to get the Agony's Embrace, turns the fight around onto Korn, and there goes the turn from Zero.
Oh,
Name
good job,
can't
Zero.
find a way over the wall, and that's going to be King disengaging.
Great disengage from King. We talked about how they're looking for picks. Hold on.
Name takes some big damage. He's forced to flash away under the turret. Luckily, Let Me has no chum the waters, and Name gets away.
RNG in position to siege, though.
Yeah, they're getting some big damage. Korn dodges some big damage. He does take some more poke from Xiaohu. There goes the amazing Emo Plague from Insec. Finds 4 members and nets a kill.
A little bit overzealous right there, attempting to dive the tower. Insec stepping forward as soon as RNG attempted to dive onto Korn, protecting him. But just really want to go back to that disengage from Zero to drop the box in that choke point to make sure that RNG couldn't continue to commit on that.
Ooh, pings are going down onto the Baron right now. 5 versus 4. Destiny being used to scout out RNG, and King might be trying to set up a pick here. if they can just find someone out of position. Blue buff has spawned. They might try to steal that instead. King, look for the flank on the mid lane. Will they find Wushin? The flash play is huge from Zero. He doesn't quite land the death sentence. Xiaohu goes low. He's still alive, though, and it looks like Hui's actually going to be the first to fall to Wushin. Finally, they traded over 1 for 1, but Insec takes some more damage. Flash from Wushin. That's a second kill. No knockup finds Insec just yet. And that's going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the mid lane.
Again, a little bit overzealous. Wushin arriving on the back half of that fight, but Zero. Thresh is usually banned away from him. He did manage to miss the death sentence on that initial dive, but just the forethought, the style of this player, the fact that he can carry from that support role, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, so Zero playing pretty solidly with this one, 100%
I
kill
would
participation.
say out of his mind.
Yep. That's a pretty accurate way to put it. And things are looking pretty good for King. Yes, they are down about 4,500 gold, but they did take game number 1, and there's still a lot of opportunities for them to turn this match around.
They do have a lot more versatility into their composition. Not only does Sivir empower Vladimir to look for those flanks to find a nice Hemo Plague, but likewise Vladimir is going to empower Sivir with the AoE damage on her Ricochet when it stacks on top of the Hemo Plague. So late game, yeah, you are facing against a Vayne, but you have a lot of options with the Sivir-Vladimir combo, as well as looking for the initial split push. You have double teleport with the Destiny teleport, as well as the Vladimir split push teleport. So they can be squirrely.
Yeah, so far King have already closed that 5,000 gold lead down to only about a 4,000 gold lead, 3.5 really, as they're picking up some more CS. And interestingly enough, Name, who had an enormous CS lead over Wushin in game number 1, and even earlier in this game was up about 20 CS, is now down 15 CS over Wushin. Seems like RNG placing so much priority on Wushin is starting to pay off.
Well, they've just been constantly opening up free farm lanes for him to just sit up there. And we talked about, RNG, they're totally fine letting these dragons go down.
Insec gets caught, takes some huge damage from Xiaohu. Death sentence misses. Is Xiaohu going to get the assassination? The snipe over the wall. No, Agony's embrace from MLXG. And Insec has got to turn it around. Zanyas tries to keep him alive. He's buying time. Oh, he's still alive. Finally goes down to MLXG, but Hui is now caught out of position. He's caught, and RNG pick up 2 free kills.
What are they doing there? Even with the added bonus of the on the hunt, King are just frankly out of position, falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, it seems like King not able to do that much to turn it around, and when they don't have that early advantage that is so vital for them. Zero is going to spot RNG starting off this Baron. Dragon number 3 has spawned, and let's see if he is going to be able to get the steal. Destiny being used. Here comes the gate. Is he going to make it in time? No steal quite yet, and RNG pick it up.
Great job from LXG to make sure that he can secure the Baron. Now with the Baron, they can head over to the Dragon and stall out that 5th Dragon win condition for King, but RNG have been in full control of this game since pretty much level 1.
Yeah, MLXG doing a great job to help effectively make that happen. He's been roaming all across the map. Now Dragon is up, but King are in no position to contest it. RNG sending out some forward pings. They've got their eyes on getting rid of that 5th Dragon win condition and putting a complete halt on any and all of King's plans.
I talked about how until RNG are more proactive about how they move around the map, they're not going to find consistent results. The probably the 2 members that are probably the most proactive for them on the team is going to be MLXG and Lei. And the success this game was those 2 making plays around the map.
Yeah, MLXG is 3,000 gold ahead of Hui this time. There goes the Agony's Embrace on Aname. He goes low. Heal tries to keep him alive, but they're diving so far.
Beautiful cast.
He finally makes it out, but Zero is forced to run away as well, and RNG are going to take this tier 2.
They don't find the 2 kills that they wanted, but they get the objective, and now they're pushing onto the inhibitor.
Yeah, here comes MLXG once again. He's spotted out, but I'm pretty sure he wants that at this point in the game as he rushes forward with the rest of his team. They could look to break down this inhibitor, and man, you can see MLXG smiling. That guy is happy.
Looking for the 1-1. That said, it's not going to get them too far into the standings. We're closing in on the final weeks of the LPL week 8 out of 11. If you don't get the 3 points, you're not looking at playoffs.
Yeah, it's so vital to get those 3 points. King so desperately clinging on, but they're just not quite finding it. Oh, Hui is able to belly slam over the wall. It was a bit of an awkward journey, but he made it over. Now RNG, they're going to continue farming it up, buying more CS for Wushin, who's now 4-1-1, doing some serious damage. MLXG despite knowing that all of King are in that bush, is still managing to contest that Raptor camp.
They've got so much control. They're looking at the top tier tower. You see the pings going down and just the siege potential and the threat of Jace as you stand on these towers with the upgraded acceleration blast.
Yeah, RNG are going to continue pressuring forward now. Looking for that top tier 2 turret. That's the last tier 2. They've still got Baron for about 30 to 45 seconds. Jungle Waters gets dodged. However, this tier 2 is going to go down.
Just ripped through. Jace walks up to a tower, presses W. Hello, goodbye.
Yeah, so that tier 2 finally goes down. That's number 6, turret number 6 for RNG, whereas King have only got 2 of their own. There goes the Talisman of Ascension. They find Wushin. The hook threads the needle, but the cleanse immediately knocks it out. Destiny Gate, and Korn gets double blasted away. He cannot assassinate Korn, and RNG are successfully able to peel for him. Insec tries to dive in, but the rest of King have fallen. Wushin is going to finally survive, and Lamy, the only person who died for an ace on King.
Beautiful Janna ultimate. As soon as Korn went in to try to engage the fight with the Zanya Hourglass gold card, gets pushed, completely separates King. They immediately turn onto Korn, delete him off the map, and then turn back and run through King.
Yeah, a bit of a window of opportunity for RNG as they find their way onto the first inhibitor turret. Now the inhibitor after. They're 10,000 gold ahead of King. 26 minutes in. The minions are going to finish it off, and here's a breakdown of that fight.
This is so excellent. The ult is so perfectly timed that he's blasted back before he even gets to use his Zanya's Hourglass. So they quickly clean up Korn, and then it's just Wushin and the gold deficit speaking for itself as they just rip through King.
Yeah, so much damage.
That was my face. I was like, Lamy.
Amazing Monsoon from Lamy, but that's now King and RNG in full control of this game, sealing away the blue buff. Oh, that's his own blue buff.
Would you like a fun fact?
Hit me with it.
Okay, RNG are the only team left in the LPL that if they get the first inhibitor, they have a 100% chance of winning the game.
Ooh. So statistically, RNG have won.
Yeah, statistically, they've already won.
We'll have to see if they can actually pull it out in reality. Because King, they're still putting up a pretty valiant effort. Let's take a look at the vision on the map right now. King have got, RNG have got complete knowledge of where all members of King are. And
look at all those beings.
Yeah, clearly RNG have got their plan prepared for closing out this game.
Da-dun. Da-dun. Is Insec gonna get him?
I don't.
Oh, spotted out. He's done. He's done.
Yeah, he's taking some big damage from Wushin. There's the Destiny Gate. Oop, manages to get the gold card on the Lamy, but Wushin turns onto him. He's going to shred through the health bar of Korn. He's going to end up going down despite a missed auto attack. The rest of his team buys some time. MLXG goes aggressive and pays his life for Korn.
Yeah, Wushin there fighting not only the Twisted Fate, but the Cannon Creep.
Yep. So important to get that CS.
Remember, kids, A-click responsibly.
Don't A-click and drive at the same time. Don't A-click and right-click.
Here we go. You got it.
But again, 29 minutes in, RNG are in complete control. Baron's up in 1:20. Dragon number 2 is up in a solid minute. That inhibitor is still down, but RNG haven't really made that much use of anything.
Well, they've just been really slowly bleeding King out. The next priority objective for them, the reason why they were all conjugated on the bottom side of the map is because if you get that bottom inhibitor, obviously second rotation of Baron, if you're playing with the different pressure points, pretty much gives you a free Baron or a free Nexus turret. That said, they didn't get it, so we'll see how they set up and play around this next Baron in 47 seconds.
Certainly find out as Dragon's going to be up in 30. Recalls from RNG find them all ready and prepared on the bottom side of the map. Here comes a recall out of Let Me to join up with the rest of his team as well. He doesn't have teleport, so he's got to join up with them manually, and RNG look ready and prepared to knock down that second Dragon. King are in no position to contest it. Instead, they're going to look for some vision onto the Baron.
Possibly trading a very quick Desperation Baron for the Dragon. That said, they've got 10 seconds, and this Dragon will shred through so quickly.
Yeah, so much damage from Wushin. He's successfully reached 3-item vein. remarkably defensive with his style build. He does not want to die.
You don't need the offensive, like the Infinity Edge or the VT in this case, because he has Janna. And again, it just goes back to why I love Janna with Vayne, or pretty much Janna with any AD carry that's going to prioritize attack speed versus flat AD, because the Eye of the Storm is going to compensate for that in terms of raw stats, and then likewise on top of the final hour, and then into Vayne's passive of chasing with Janna's Tailwind passive. Just everything works there. Yeah,
not to mention how excellent Lamey has been playing in this set. 1, 3, and 11 on his team. Not highest kill participation. That's actually going to go to MLXG, who's 4, 2, and 9. 13 out of his team's 17 kills. Now RNG are prepared for this Baron. They're all grouped up around the pit. That middle inhibitor is still down, and RNG creeping forward. They're going to find this pink ward and clear it out. Now that middle inhibitor, as I just said, is still down. So they're just buying time to try to find King out of position.
It is really important there that MLXG was able to smite the Raptor camp and then quickly return towards the Baron pit to make sure that he's sweeping out. I mean, he just got 3 wards off of that Razor Sharp.
And immediately the wards are placed right back. RNG setting up a death bush, but King aren't going to fall for it as they buy a lot of sweepers of their own. And they don't have vision over the Baron directly, but they've got vision over all of the entry points. RNG finally pulled the trigger. They dash forward. Zero's the target. He gets brought low. Hui tries to disengage, but they're diving back for Name. He makes it out, but Let Me chases so far. Finally, Zero's going to end up going down. Here's Hui. He's continuing to be chased by Let Me, who's doing some wicked damage along with Xiaohu. They can't quite get the kill, but with Zero dead, they should be able to take this Baron.
Turning back towards the Baron, it's still technically 50-50 because Huey is up and alive. That said, MLXG level 14 smite versus level 13.
Let's see if they decide to commit to it. There's a big wave on the bottom side of the map. King might actually have some time to catch their breath here, as it looks like RNG aren't going to pull the trigger. Holy damage! Xiaohu flashes for a solo kill onto Name.
Just styled on Name, completely whiffing the spell shield, not able to absorb the shock blast, and gets annihilated by Xiaohu.
Yeah, now RNG are going to be able to turn onto the dragon. Hui is in position. Let's see if he's going to make it. Not quite in time. Baron secured for RNG. This is number 2 for them. With that middle inhibitor down, seems like RNG have got, once again, complete control of momentum.
Should be now looking towards mid lane on that respawned inhibitor.
We'll have to see how RNG are going to try closing this out, because they've now only got a 12,000 gold lead over King. That gold lead gets bigger and bigger every time you look at it, but it seems like they're giving a lot of respect to King in closing this match out.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think both these teams kind of have some holes in their mid-game shot calling in terms of being as efficient as possible. Again, you have very inexperienced shot callers in terms of competitive experience on either side. Now, with the with Insec and Zero rejoining King's lineup, they did look much more cohesive as a team than kind of the first 2 weeks when they didn't have them. But Name is still the primary shot caller for King. Historically, Name never has been a shot caller, so this was kind of his first time. And you know, King said going into this that they wanted to train up a shot caller. On the other side, you have MLXG, who has LSPL experience, as well as an initial split when he was formerly on King as a shot caller, but still, it's really experienced veteran status that helps iron out those kinks.
We're starting to see that experience trying to keep King afloat this time around, because they're not quite able to keep pace with RNG. Lots of damage onto the inhibitor. Xiaohu is shredding through its health. He finally knocks it low. Again, that inhibitor has fallen, and the side waves are pushed and prepared for RNG. You've got Let Me on the bottom with a big minion wave, prepared to shred through that next inhibitor turret. While you also have MLXG waiting in the wings, looking for a pick. He comes in from behind. He finds Zero, dodges the flay. Actually, that was the spell shield to keep him alive. Insec gets brought low. He takes some more damage, but Name body blocks it for Insec, and they're able to stay alive, but they're almost certainly going to lose this inhibitor turret.
That's totally fine. They don't mind that they weren't able to find any kills, because they force King away from the tower, which means a free inhib, like you said.
That's inhibitor number 2 secured for RNG. They don't feel that they have enough momentum to quite end the game just yet. MLXG looking awful happy with this match. As the Baron up super creeps rush into the base, RNG move their attention to the last bastion of defense for King with that last remaining inhibitor turret.
Likewise, this means that King's window of trying to take a step back into this game is closing. They need to look for a team fight. They just can't continue to bleed to death.
God, so much damage coming out from Xiaohu. He's landing Shock Blast after Shock Blast. Currently at 5, 1, and 7. Almost full item. This guy's doing some serious damage. Name's current missing health is a result of 1 accelerated Shock Blast from Xiaohu. Baron has just fallen off, so this is going back to a good old conventional siege for RNG. Will they be able to pull the trigger and end the game? Super Minions are going to pull Corn away while MLXG and Let Me look for a bit of a flank to try getting someone out of position. Insec takes some damage. No trouble waters from Let Me just yet. And slowly but surely, this inhibitor is falling.
Big issue with King's composition is that they don't have the hard engage reliable enough to just engage onto Xiaohu before he lays down this massive poke with the acceleration gate and the shock blast. Your hard engage is going to come from a gold card, a death sentence, flay, and cask, but there's no Tibbers, pecker up.
No hard way to break it down. The inhibitor has fallen. It's do or die time for King, but it seems like they're going for the latter as MLXG is the one who pulls the trigger, turns it right back around. It's complete chaos as RNG dash forward. Insec is in the front lines. He's buying time for his team, but it's not going to be enough. He flashes away. Finally, RNG starts to pick up the kills as the health bars of King are completely destroyed, and RNG are going to get onto the Nexus and end up splitting this series 1-1 with King.
And the comfort picks come through for RNG, putting Xiaohu back on that Jace that was banned the first game. Lucian goes back to the tried and true vein, and they just run through King from level 1.
Yeah, some amazing play from RNG over the duration of this one. MLXG looks like this time he was able to get to the plan that he had planned for in game number 1 and really stick to it.
But the plan is always gank the lanes, kill the enemy team. They don't lane swap, they don't look for any objective control or advantage there. Corn looking mighty unhappy.
Well, they were looking for some trading. I mean, giving up Dragons for taking the tier 1 and even the tier 2 at times. And that ended up hurting them in game 1, but in game number 2, that worked out to their benefit.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's RNG winning game number 1. King playing reasonably well. You could see Insec doesn't look too happy about that performance, but his play in game number 1 was praiseworthy.
Yeah, and he did a decent job in game number 2. That said, MLXG, made a fantastic point to keep Insec down. Name got ahead, but pretty much anyone else on King's lineup was stunted. RNG doing a great job across the board, getting their standard lanes, taking their comfort picks, and just, really beating King on an individual 1v1 basis.
Yeah, pretty much all across the board, too. Xiaohu beating Corn out. You had Lucian. He did suffer a bit earlier on against Name, but ended up coming back, his team successfully buying him enough time